these sessions is people take about 3, 4, 5 minutes, sometimes 10 minutes to join. That makes some people, and hence some people have to wait for them. But we are very fortunate that we have a good audience today. And today's session is largely on our relationship with money. There is no slides that I've prepared that will talk about any product. I normally don't talk product. I rather like to talk about the concepts, about our challenges, about the solutions that are available, about solutions that are available, but we are not aware of it. And money is a very funny thing. If you delay any action with regards to money, you don't get a chance a second time. So the younger the people, the better it is. The older the people, if they have made good money in their life, it's even more better. They can have a very comfortable future. Many people in India, I have seen, they die rich, but they live very poor. They die rich largely because they don't understand the power of their money. And when they don't understand the power of their money, that's when they mindlessly keep investing and saving money, don't spend the right amount of money at the right point in time. And then they land up leaving behind a lot of money and compromising their own lives, live a compromised lifestyle. So there is a message for youngsters in my presentation. There is a message for the people who are above 40 also, like me. Let me dive into the presentation right now. The window into the future, it's very important to understand money management, because money management is directly associated with the social structure, with the way we are living lives, the way we are working, the amount of number of years we work and the number of years we need to live post-work, and the challenges that are there, the cash flows, whether they are steady, whether they are unsteady. So there are a lot of things changing. And now with COVID, this entire presentation that I'm doing with you is something I would have not thought of about 2 years back. Even if there would have been Zoom, it would have never occurred to me that all of you all will be comfortable on Zoom. Today, everyone is comfortable on Zoom because COVID pushed us into this social experiment of lockdown, and we learned to live with it. So so basically, let's take a glimpse into the future, the way life could be after COVID. And the small disclaimer is that, it's not my ideas that I'm not thought of any ideas and I'm trying to, talk about it, something that's occurred to me. It's not that. The disclaimer basically is I've been reading a lot of good authors and a lot of good books. And if you read what these guys write, I've tried to make some sense of what they say and how it will impact our wealth and our wealth creation potential and how we live our lives. So 21 lessons from 21st century, amazing book to read. And this 10 lessons from post-pandemic by Farid Zakaria is another brilliant book. I have tried to merge these two because the first author talks about what's going to happen in the future. The second author says that now that pandemic has happened, what could pandemic do in the future? And third is my own experience of my own career, the career of all my colleagues, how that has changed, and what I also felt about something through my experience, and how what I felt and what I believed is happening. Many of these authors have mentioned about the same things. So when you have a thought point and you read an author writing about the same thing, then you know that what I was assuming is perhaps the right thing. That's how things will happen. So this presentation has been quite popular with a lot of people. I've run it past. So hopefully you should find some insights in this. The rules have changed very clearly. When we started our careers, one generation old, when we started studying and when we got jobs, we were very, very sure about our jobs. Life was far, far more stable at that time. People were not becoming suddenly very rich. The rich people were rich. The people who didn't have the money, didn't have the capital, lived happy and very comfortable lives. But today, the opportunities have become big. You don't need to have a godfather. You can still become very rich. So there are several opportunities, but several challenges too. So if the rules have changed, if the rules of life has changed, it's quite but obvious that rules of money, the way in which you relate to money, the way you treat money, the way money you expect from money, all these things would change because the rules of life have changed. So there is a relationship. Finally, money solves the problem that life gives us or challenges that life throws upon us. Money is one of the solutions. So when does the life throw what kind of challenges and how that is changing? I have looked at 3 segments. One is I've looked at young people. One I've looked at people above 40, and one I've looked at professionals like doctors and lawyers, architects, etc. So basically, the first thing that, past performance, whether how life was in the past, or how a particular product has performed in the past, or how FD was in the past, how PPF was in the past, this past has no relevance at all in the world of money. Past is history. The future is nothing to do with the past. That's the first basic understanding. Many people who believe that they will understand money is they look into history and then they start forecasting the future, predicting the future. The biggest risk in life you can take is to depend on past performance. And that is what makes money management a big challenge. It appears a lot easier than what it is, because nothing, if a mutual fund, supposing, has performed very well in the past, I will say that most likely it will not perform well in the future. A mutual fund which has performed very badly in the past, I may actually expect it to perform well in the future. And a mutual fund which has performed badly in the past can continue to perform badly also. So it's not, nothing can be predicted that easily. Therefore, experience and feel and understanding. And there are several moving parts in the world of money, and it certainly requires a lot of understanding and experience. Ashish, okay. So as I said, the past performance is inadequate measure when it comes to money management. And the good old wisdom with regards to money, the Papa कहते हैं syndrome. The Papa कहते हैं यहाँ पे पैसा डालो, Papa कहते हैं वहाँ पे पैसा डालो. ये पापा की तरफ देखने वाली बात ही नहीं है. You need to look at people who are perhaps the future rather than the past. So the challenges are certainly there, and whatever I'm going to talk to all of you will certainly make the challenges that you perhaps are not seeing look a lot bigger and monstrous before you. But while the challenges are there, the solutions too are very big. The biggest challenge, actually, if I say, is we ourselves. And that's because of a fixed mindset based on stories we have grown up listening to. Our own mindset are the biggest challenges. If we are willing to change our mindset and look at things differently, the solutions are amazing because of a magical concept called the power of compounding. We haven't understood how powerful the power of compounding is. Power of compounding is something that can make a person live a very, very happy life without even having to step out of his house. Power of compounding is something that if you have a decent amount of corpus, you can live a life of 40, 50 years with very little money, not much money. That is what power of compounding does. So power of compounding is quite an amazing thing. However, you need to create some wealth before you can enjoy that kind of power. But the biggest thing is having an open mindset to learn and listen what is happening and try to learn the concept, and don't have any preconceived notions about money. We live with truths that have no standing today. We all the time worry about market risk. That's the only risk I think most people worry about, because that's what is spoken about in the news. That's what you see in the newspapers. That's what is a popular concept that is spoken about. But not many of us understand something called liquidity risk. In my view, if you understand liquidity risk, that alone is enough to help you change your life. I'll give you an example. There could be a person who's a doctor and he's earning, let's say, ₹1 lakh a month. And when he retires, all he does is slightly restructure his portfolio. And after restructuring his portfolio for the rest of his life, he can earn ₹2 lakhs a month without changing his lifestyle. This is what I'm trying to tell you about liquidity, understanding liquidity. We may be rich, but we are not wealthy because we do not know the difference between the two. One person, when I say rich, means a very busy man running, working all the time, working extremely hard, making decent amount of money, but the typical life of no time for himself, no time for his family, no time to go on a holiday, but working all the time, making money. Wealthy is the person who knows how to make his money work for him. So that while he works the time that he wishes to work, does what he wants to do, but his money is his friend and the money takes care of his life. That's what is really wealthy. If you do not, whenever people say that I have no time, I never consider the man to be wealthy. He may be rich, but a real wealthy person will always have the time He may not give you the time because he feels you don't deserve his time, but he has the time to give it to whoever he wishes to. So this is very important to understand the difference between rich and wealthy. The story of success so far has been the story of active income. We always feel that a person who has a job, he's successful. A person who has a practice, he goes there, he sits in his clinic, he gets 30 patients a day, that is success. A person has a shop and he has a lot of customers walking in, that is success. We have somehow always ignored the power of passive income. But if you think of the biggest businessman, even today, the CEO of Google is Sundar Pichai. He works hard. But Larry Page is a man who's making all the money and he's earning passive income. He need not be involved all the time. So passive income is the real wealth. If you understand to create wealth and live and keep earning a lot of passive income or secondary income or tertiary income, that's when you really understand the power of money. And that makes your life a lot more meaningful because you can start doing things you wish to do. The world around us is mutating just like the coronavirus all the time. What worked in the past is a formula for disaster now. Education no longer guarantees a job, leave alone a career. It was very normal thing to make a career in a single organization at one point in time. I know of people joining a company after graduation and retiring from the same company. It was like a marriage back then. Today, no one will dare to take even a 20 years loan. I've asked a lot of youngsters, can you take a 20-year loan for your house? And the answer is no. I've taken a 20-year loan at least 2 or 3 times in my life. Today, people are not even sure of the next 5 years. The higher the salary a person makes, the more temporary his job is. And that is what is and that is something no company writes in their policies. They all say that you will retire at 60. The biggest lie in today's world. The retirement age is climbing down very fast. 40 has become the new 60. I left my job at 40. I was part of a management committee having with a lot of colleagues who used to sit together. Almost 60% of them have left their jobs and they are on their own right now. 30-40% people, perhaps chief operating officer kind of people, compliance officers, those kind of people are still there. Otherwise, people are all on their own right now. There is no official retirement at 40, but the system is such that you cannot continue beyond a point. I've seen several ads which say that if you're above 40, please don't apply for the job. If you are above 40 and you're in a job, this is perhaps your last good job that you're doing. Life is getting longer on the other hand. Celebrities earlier had career spans which was 15-20 years. Today, their career spans have come down to 4-5 years. And our career spans, if you're in a job, has become like the old celebrity career spans of 15 to 20 years. Still, the overall wealth is rising. Now, this is the positive part of it. We are perhaps witnessing one of the most abundant times in history. Wealth compounding is touching more lives than it ever did. There are millionaires and billionaires taking birth, more millionaires taking birth than we ever had witnessed in the past. People in India are getting rich. They are living good lifestyles. So there is money. There's a lot of abundance. But the path to the abundance is changing. The path to the abundance is not the old story of studying and passing and getting a job and allowing the job to take you there. The role of money management is becoming even more critical. Clearly, managing money is the key to wealth creation. Managing money is no longer a sufficient factor for wealth creation. Money management is not a single dimension activity any longer. While returns are important, we always are too obsessed with it. There is more to money management than returns. And if at all I'm trying to leave a big message in this presentation, you should remember what I'm telling you right now. There is more to money management than returns. Returns are very significant for some people. Returns can be very insignificant for other people. So basically, the message is we are moving from, we need to appreciate that instead of being obsessed with returns, we need to understand cash flow.
Yeah.
Cash flow is a very, very important part of money management. One second. Cash flow is a tool that most do not understand. Unless we see cash flow management as an integral part of money management, we will never be able to experience the power of our own money. And the biggest tragedy is if you can't, really enjoy the money you have earned. And I have seen so many people have earned so much of money, but they have never spent the right amount of money when the right time is there. A person wants to go for international holidays. You can only go when you're physically strong. If you keep focusing on creating more and more money and delay certain activities, you land up with a lot of money, but you've not really made good use of your money. Most people still live poor and die rich. This is curse of money. Now let's look at some different segments of people. Let's start with the young people. Earlier, what was this? The scenario was people used to start working early.
A little, then we will go to the restaurant. I have to drop something.
I'm getting disturbed somewhere.
We are going to your favorite place, by the way.
Where?
Okay, so earning age has come down to 18. It should start at 18 earlier, but now it's gone to 25 because youngsters don't think of working. They only think of studying in the beginning part of their lives. If they finish one thing, they feel that if they study more, something better will happen in life. This was the story of the past. But look at what is happening right now. Earning age has increased, so people start late. Retirement is reducing. I've shown 50 years. It can also be 40. It could also be 45. So basically, the period in which you work from 18 to 58 has now come down to 25 to 50. And what else is the other challenge, which is a positive challenge, is life expectancy is going long, has become more because of better medical facilities and people take care of their health. There's more awareness. So people are living longer. They're working less. People are working for less number of years, but they have to live longer. So you have less number of years to support a longer life. So this is one important learning. The old story, again, there's another learning over years. This was the old mindset. I have a study zone in life, which I can stretch till 25. I have a work zone in life till 66, and then I have a retirement zone. This is changing. Today, you can't have a study zone and say goodbye to studies. I am studying even now at 52. I keep studying all the time because otherwise I'll be irrelevant with the world I'm living in. So study zone is extended all the way till the time you can study. It could be 61, 62, 63, you can study. And on the other hand, work zone should start earlier. You can't start working at 25. Earlier, you decided to work at 25 because you thought it's a goodbye to studies. When studies are not a goodbye, then don't delay your starting work because power of compounding helps people who start earning early. So if you start earning at the age of 21, 22, by the time you're 35, you are financially free. You don't have to worry about that salary that comes in. If you start at 25, 26, you have to work till 40, 45. So the faster you start working, whichever way and start earning, that's the way it should go. And retirement zone, today there is no retirement zone, honestly. You retire only when you can't work. You retire only when your mind stops working, when you physically are weak. Otherwise, there's no retirement zone because you create your own life. Education was a license to the next job of uninterrupted career. Always when we thought that if we are educated, if all you have to do was get good marks, be obedient, listen to the boss, work more number of hours, and you'll keep getting your promotions and perhaps a career also. That story is gone. Jobs were a safe and secure option. Jobs are now riskier than doing business. I know I deal with a lot of people who are in jobs. They are desperate to make money under the table because they don't know when their jobs will go. This is the reality of life. And because jobs are people, as I said, people can't take a 20 years loan any longer. Doing business is hard, no doubt, but still, I feel doing jobs is even more riskier today. You don't have to make a mistake to lose your job. This is what we never knew. For us, it was always about if I'm sincere, if I'm hardworking, if I do my job well, if I study, if I spend more number of time in the office, automatically I will move forward. It's no longer true because the business may die, the business in which you're working. There could be interpersonal problems. You can lose your job even by being, if you're sometimes very good at your job, you can lose your job because some politics will come into the play. So you can lose your job sometimes by being too good at it also. So this is something you need to understand, that it's out of control. My going to work every day on time and working many hours is not a guarantee. It's not a license. Organizations were formed like this earlier. There was a team, there were many distributors, and then you reach the customer. And there was advertising support, and a lot of inefficiencies were in this structure. But this was the only structure, hence it was the most efficient structure. The inefficiency was part of the design at that time. Now we are getting more and more efficient. Today, as an individual, a small team of people can place ads, call people, like we are doing a session right now. I'm perhaps meeting 20 people. I could be meeting 500 people. I've done sessions with 1,000 people. Okay, and if I'm influencing 1,000 people, I'm definitely going to get a share of those people who like what I'm talking. So this is what a single person sitting on a computer, anywhere in the world, can set up a powerful advertising, call an audience, do a powerful program, get them involved, and then make them lifetime customers. And the digital ecosystem that supports so many services like your Swiggy, your Zomatos, the Ubers, the Oyos, that kind of a system technology is there, and it is more and more easily available to people to use. So you can have your fulfillment is taking place, and you have several other technologies like CRM technologies, which used to cost crores of rupees. Today, you can white label it at a very low cost. So what the big manufacturers could afford, today, even a person with less money can easily afford. And that is what today every advertisement gets you business. At one point in time, when the inefficiency was part of the design, we could waste money on advertising. And of course, image was built, but we could afford to do that. Today, every advertising works for you. So this is a new model. It's now the gig economy, means you get paid for what you do and not for the time that you spend. Geography is history. Today, I have a chief operating officer out of Gujarat, a chief management officer out of Surat. I have my partner who's in Mysore, and we work from every part of the country, and we work more efficiently than I've ever worked in the past. So basically, your job can be taken by anybody in any geography, or you can take somebody's work from any geography. You will no longer be paid for your time, but for the work that you do. Time to differentiate between learning and education. There's a difference between learning and education. Learning is about learning about what is happening, what I need to do. Education is getting a degree and forgetting about it. Learning mindset is the growth mindset for the future. Attitude and hunger to learn is the passport to grow. Again, in my business, I have partners, I have associates who are just 12th standard pass, but their attitude and their desire to learn is such that I can see them reaching the highest level. Today, your degree means nothing, because if you can't guarantee, if a college can't guarantee a job, then the college also has no meaning. It's finally we are on our own and we need to grow with the right attitude. Now, that was the message for youngsters. I hope some insights you could derive from that. And I think you need to think about it. A lot of things that I tell can sound absurd, but as I said, these are not my original ideas. These are ideas that people are talking about, big authors are talking about. So give it a thought. Don't brush it past. There is the next segment that I'm talking about, a businessman. What's happening in businesses? Margins are shrinking, and scaling up techniques are going to be more and more significant and important to practice. Marketing is at the forefront. You need to build a brand. You can't say I'm a small person and I will not build a brand. I will, I'll work on commissions, etc. You need to build a brand. There's no two ways about it, and that requires money. And money in business is also like the market. It's always volatile. So if you have got your money management right, your personal money management right, if you've got a cash flow solution in your life, then you don't have to worry about business decisions. You can take the chances. In my case, I have my cash flow system in place. And hence, whenever I'm asked to invest 5 lakhs, 6 lakhs on a particular activity, I don't even have to think twice about it. Those are the chances. Many 1 lakh investments of mine has gone down the drain. But that is the cost of doing business today. You have to have the power to lose money. You lose money twice, but the third time you make a lot out of it. So many people lose out in the first two losses. Businesses need to continuously evolve, just like restaurants evolve. You need to keep changing your theme, your design, your business concept, and hence that requires money. So there will be challenges. Hence, your personal money, your personal life, your cash flow has to be in place. I'm not bothered about returns. I need to be sure that my money is giving me money month on month to take care of my life for the rest of my life. Now let me come to doctors and practitioners. Their challenges and frustrations. There was a time we believed that, if I have a clinic and I have patients coming, that is success. But you can't charge patients, you can't keep increasing your margins. There is something called a margin that the market can sustain. I can't just charge a patient 5,000 rupees. Nobody's going to come to me. So there was a time when we believed that if I had a lot of patients, I had a lot of customers, and I am doing well. And that's when the entrepreneurs set in, and doctors realized, CAs realized, and architects realized that despite them being so skillful, there was this entrepreneur who's become much richer than him in no time. And he's going on bigger holidays. And he seems to be working less. And this happens, and hence doctors, practitioners, etc., they need to learn what is a business system and how to create a business system, how to create a brand. Every tool is available today at a very low cost. We have to put our minds together. So a doctor can become very well off if he opens a nursing home. A chartered accountant can be very well off and if he becomes an entrepreneur and opens an office. But to practice all the time, that thought of practicing throughout my life, it's again an old concept, not going to work today. So scaling up is a challenge, but there are many solutions to scaling up. We again have to go back to the drawing board and learn. Listen, learn, and understand what are the models. Because practice is not a great model anymore. Because if you practice, you'll get frustrated to see your friends who are growing richer much faster. The above 40 professional, as I said, he needs to assess the power of his money. He needs to ask someone to check the money and say, "Isme kitna power hai," how powerful it is. Making money period is shrinking and managing money period is increasing. While making money is very important, but perhaps managing money is even more important. I know a lot of people who have made money, put it in the wrong places, and are still living a very mediocre life. And they could perhaps, if they had just restructured their money, they could have lived a very wealthy life. So people who are above 40 have to assess the power of the money that they currently possess. So now we are coming to the last 10-15 minutes of the program. So I'm well within time. So just pay some more attention. What are the money solutions? We need to make money our slave. Otherwise, money will make us a slave. The money formula is make money, manage money, and multiply money. So let's understand returns versus cash flow. I think all of us—
It's 5:30.
All of us understand returns. Okay, because we are obsessed with that. This will give me how much returns, that will give me how much returns, without even knowing what I'm going to do with the returns. The real magic of money is cash flow. If I can get you your entire lifestyle guaranteed for the rest of your life, how do you care for returns? Cash flow solutions. So I spoke about a few segments. I started talking about the challenges to those segments. Okay, but I have to also show you the solutions that are there for all these segments. There are amazing, awesome solutions. So youth has to make a choice. You want to live a life like this, where you have no targets, no jobs. Yeah, you can have kids, no debts, no worries. You can have your beer. You can do what you play snooker. Do what you want to do. Work when you want to work. Do the work that you want to do. That's life. If this is the life you want, what do you need to do? Cash flow solutions, there are 3 steps. This is for youngsters. For people above 40 and for practitioners, there are 2 steps. So we'll do 3 steps and 2 steps, and then we'll start closing this presentation. The first step is to build freedom. That is when a youngster starts working. He's in a job. Even today, you have a decent job for 15-20 years. You continue to get your growth. And the good part is the salaries are high. So if the salaries are high, you have to be mindful about not splurging too much of money. This is the time you build your money. You start investing seriously. Okay, and by 40, still better by 35, become financially free. There is the new mantra is financial freedom. And that's the best money solution. So you make money during this period of time. You need to start early. You need to practice disciplined investing. You need to practice asset allocation so that your experience of investing is good. And your emphasis should be more on equity if you are young, because it's a great friend for youngsters. and some amount of debt, which is a friend forever. Speculating, gambling, trying to be rich suddenly will make you rich for some time, but you will pay a big price. Keep your personal costs in check. Don't settle for a bad life or an inconvenient life, but don't splurge. So I have made this formula DSBDS. Don't splurge, but don't settle, but don't splurge. This is something you must remember. This is how the economy works. I can always do a different session with you all telling you how the economy works, how our investment reaches the economy, and how the country works. But in short, equity investment is when you give the money to the economy, it returns good amount of money over a period of time. Debt money, when you give it to the economy, it returns it regularly and much faster. Hence, older people should prefer debt economy and a little of equity. Older people, younger people should go more with equity and a little of debt. But this is for another day. We can do a session only on how to understanding how the economy works. So now we come back to the youngster. By the time he's 40, he is financially free. This blue line is the money he has, and the yellow line is his expenses are going up. Obviously, expenses are going up because of inflation. Inflation makes it more and more expensive. But if you can see here, this is the power of compounding. This blue line somehow does not end. It is running parallel all the way till 79. And if your corpus was larger, this blue line would run parallel all the way beyond your life. And that is the power of money. That is the power of compounding, the magic of compounding. So in short, the freedom and stability journey is 25 to 40, 25 to 35, make your money. After the age of 40, your money can work for you. And I'm not saying you sit at home and do nothing. At this point, this gray line is the experiment of your life. What you wish to do, start a restaurant, start an online business, take the business risks. Don't have to worry any longer about your lifestyle. The red line is your lifestyle. The blue line is supporting your lifestyle. You have all the freedom to actually take any risk and take your chances and do what you wish to do, your hobbies, your passions. So I call this flow conditions. When I know that I don't have to worry about this 4 lakh investment I'm making in the business, for me, it's a flow condition. I know that I can survive without this 4 lakhs. And this 4 lakh, I have to take a chance. Twice I'll take a chance, third time, this will give me huge returns. So there are times in business you lose money, but do you have the courage to spend money? You have courage to spend money if your blue line is intact and your red line is guaranteed. Red line is my life. And when you start making money, because your blue line is supporting your lifestyle, red line, that means whatever money you make with your business is the time for you to multiply money. That is your wealth creation zone. With this money that you are making, which is obviously the cash flow is not regular, this green line is the wealth that you're making beyond the money that is supporting your lifestyle. I will take questions later on if somebody has, if it's confusing you. Now comes the conservation stage for people above 40. What is their bigger requirement is they have enjoyed a great lifestyle. They want this lifestyle to be guaranteed. They don't want that they should compromise. And our biggest message to them is reassurance is more than enough. Reassurance of enough. If I know the kind of money you have made, and most people in India who are well off have more than enough money to live the same lifestyle for the rest of their lives, but they are not aware about it. Or if they restructure their finances, they will get that lifestyle for the rest of their life. So this is the biggest thing that people who are 40s and 50s need to understand. They have a two-step solution. Unlike the youngster who has a 3-step, youngster has to first create the money and then manage the money. In the case of people who are above 40, I would assume they have already made the money. So they have to first manage the money. S and P is stability and protection. So they have to manage their money. The blue line supports them. The red line is their expenses all the way up to 90. Little more corpus you have over here, this blue line does not converge also. It can actually run parallel also. Again, as I said, anything that is left over after supporting the blue line. So let's say I need some amount of money to take me till 90, but I still have more money. That more money is going to be my multiplier factor. That is going to create money for me. This you can take some risk with this money also. What are the non-cash solutions for elderly people who are above 40? Wills and trust. We know about wills, but we don't know much about trust. As people are getting wealthier in India, there was a generation in the past that when they passed away, they hardly left anything for their children, or what they left for the children was small enough to be factored in a will. But today, if people leave behind 10 crores, 20 crores, 30 crores for their legal heirs, that's a huge amount of money that can put their legal heirs in trouble in future. Because you don't know who they are going to live with, who are going to be their partners, who are going to be their spouses, who can dupe them. And perhaps all the money that you have made in your life and you've thought that you want to give it to your children may not actually be enjoyed by the children. And this is where trust comes in use. And you need to think about making a trust. Again, wills and trust by itself is a big topic, which can be separately covered. One more very important part is business succession planning. I know of many people in business who run a proprietary business. They have done very well. They have a profit after tax of 2-3 crores a year, but they run the business in their own name. So the business is not even prepared to go to the next generation. And even before it goes to the next generation, every business has to have a proper structure of management. Now, this is another area where people are at loss and they need help, and you need to plan your business succession planning by consulting experts. Last part of my presentation is businessmen, practitioners, doctors, lawyers, chartered accountants, self-employed. What is their cash flow solution? Pay yourself first. Most businessmen do not pay themselves first. First, they pay the business. And when the business goes down, they have nothing left for themselves. Very important is we need to understand business is always about uneven cash flow. That's the biggest uncertainty about business is cash flow. And this is why people actually like to do jobs, because they get an even cash flow. Businessman means uneven cash flow. And this is the personality of business. And hence the businessman first has to create a corpus for his own lifestyle, the red line. Once he has created his corpus to live his lifestyle for the rest of his life, supported by the blue line, then the balance of the money he can invest in the business the way he deems fit. He can take his risks, he can do what he wishes to do, and still he has nothing to worry because his red line is intact and the blue line is there. So the jagged line, the cash flow could be uneven, could be not steady, it doesn't bother him as long as he grows his business. And these are the flow conditions he can enjoy. And for all the extra money he makes out of his business is going to multiply money. That is his multiplier. So he also makes money. This is where he can take some risks. So making money, managing money, and multiplying money are three magic formula for a great life. My number is 902-904-383838. Money solutions can never be expressed in a presentation because everybody has their own personal challenges, their personal corpuses, their personal expenses, personal lifestyles. So we can only discuss individual cases individually. So if anybody wants a 30 minutes free consultation with us, 902-904-3838. Keep this number in mind. This is my WhatsApp number. Send me a WhatsApp that you want to meet me over a Zoom call, and I'll be happy to do that. And I will now thank you very much for having given your precious time on a Sunday evening. It's been 40 minutes. I have stuck to my time. I had committed this 40-45 minutes. We have finished the presentation. I can take questions if you want to ask me right now. Otherwise, thank you so much to be there on a Sunday at 5 o'clock. If you have any questions, there are how many people now? There are 20 people. If anybody has a question, they can unmute themselves and ask me. And those of you who don't have questions and wish to leave the meeting are free to leave the meeting. There is no compulsion for you to sit now. However, if you want to go through the questions which others ask, then please be part of the meeting.
So this is Pradeep Acharya speaking. Can you tell how differently you are managing? I mean, why not I can manage my own money? Why?
That answer I gave in the beginning of my presentation when I said that money management has several moving parts. Past performance is the only, if you say I'll manage my own money, I can guarantee you, you'll first start looking at the rear view mirror and you'll start looking at past performance. This fund has done so well, let me invest here. Okay, biggest risk of money management is past performance. This business there's a lot of, it looks a lot easier than it is. And, earning 2%, 3% more than an FD may appear to be very, very minor number if you look at it from a 1 year perspective. But earning 3% more for 20 years can change your life completely. And that 3% is for which you need to go to an expert.
Exactly. So what do the experts normally do? That's my question is, maybe my question will also benefit others.
Expert normally will understand your problem, understand the solution that you require, okay, and then design a solution for you, design a portfolio, structure the portfolio, and manage the portfolio. Even if you create a portfolio, it doesn't mean that I can create a portfolio and forget about it. I need to look at the portfolio and re-engineer it as and when required.
Okay, understand. Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Any other question? Rupi, Samaptika?
Yeah, good evening. My name is Asad Rizvi. Can I ask a question, please?
Who is this?
Asad Rizvi.
Yeah,
Asad.
hi, Asad.
Yeah, so see, I wanted to understand that how do we educate our children to get into more inclination towards finances? Because see, whenever you ask children what you want to become when you want to be big, because they are always following others and they want to become, somebody wants to become pilot or something like this, but nobody says banker or finance guy, because finally, if you see Fortune 500 companies, they're mostly run by banking companies and people who manage finances, right? So I want to let my children start learning about market, learning about the power of compounding, what you have explained, because I learned it very late. So I don't want my children also to go through the same mistake. There are no classes on this. So
Sir, I run a company called Next Level Education. This company that I am now representing is called Blossom. I run a very large education company called Next Level Education. And we have several programs to address youngsters. So if you connect with me on WhatsApp, I can have a one-on-one discussion with you.
Great. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Anybody else has any other questions? Or if we are done, then it's 5:44. We can bid goodbye to each other and wish you a great evening on Sunday.